Okay, so have you ever thought about how someone goes from being just, kind of good at something to becoming a total legend? Seriously, think about it. How does a gamer go from playing in their bedroom to winning a world championship? Or how does a new artist suddenly have everyone streaming their music? It's all about the level up. And today, we're going to unpack one of the most epic level up stories in all of music history, about a guy named Johannes Brahms.
So, picture this. You're a young musician, and you are good, really good, and people are starting to notice. But there's just one problem. The person who came right before you wasn't just good, they were the GOAT, the greatest of all time. How in the world do you follow that? Well, that was the exact problem Johannes Brahms was staring down.
And yeah, the GOAT in the story was none other than Ludwig van Beethoven. He was basically the final boss of classical music. And then you have our guy, Brahms, showing up as the new challenger. The pressure was absolutely insane. It's like being a rookie basketball player and everyone expects you to be better than LeBron James in your very first game. No joke, everyone was watching him, just waiting to see if he'd crack.
So how did he even start to deal with that? Well, to figure it out, we got to go all the way back to the beginning. Back to his hometown of Hamburg. Let's just call this his tutorial level. The place where you first learn the basic controls.
So here's the quick rundown. Brahms was born in 1833. His dad was a professional musician, so music was pretty much in his DNA. He started piano lessons when he was just 7, and boom, he was an absolute natural. But here's the thing. Life wasn't easy. His family didn't have a lot of money, so as a teenager, he actually had to work, playing piano in some pretty sketchy bars and dance halls just to help pay the bills. And in his free time, the dude was obsessed. He spent hours and hours studying the music of legends like Bach, basically trying to crack their code. And let's be clear, the grind was so real. This was not some overnight success story. He put in thousands of hours practicing, studying, and performing. It's exactly like a gamer just grinding for XP, hour after hour, day after day, trying to level up their skills. That was Brahms. But look, talent and hard work are awesome, but they don't always make you a star on their own. You need to find your crew, right? Your pro squad. And that is exactly what happened to Brahms next, and it changed everything. Okay, so check out how this all went down. In 1853, Brahms goes on tour, and he finally gets out of his hometown. This leads to the connection. He meets the legendary composer Robert Schumann. So Schumann hears Brahms play and is just completely floored, and he gives him the ultimate shout-out. He writes this huge article talking about this amazing new talent. You guys, this was like the 1850s version of getting a shout-out from Mr. Beast. It basically broke the music internet.
Schumann's message was loud and clear. A new legend has arrived. And just like that, with one article, Brahms went from being a talented kid from Hamburg to being the next big thing. The hype was unbelievable, and suddenly everyone was watching him. Talk about pressure.
So now, with all eyes on him, Brahms knew he couldn't just be a copy of Beethoven or Schumann. No way. He had to create his own brand, his own signature style that was 100% him.
And this, right here, is what made him a total genius. Look at this. On one side, you've got the old school rules, all the logic and structure from the masters like Bach. And on the other, you've got the new school feels, these huge, deep emotions from the Romantic era. What did Brahms do? He became a bridge between them. He literally took the best of both worlds and mixed them together to create a sound that was completely new, super structured, but absolutely full of heart.
A huge part of his style was his insane perfectionism. And this was next level. You know how you might delete a dozen selfies before you find the one that's perfect enough to post? Well, Brahms did that with his music, by literally burning early drafts if he didn't think they were good enough. Get this, he was so obsessed with getting it right that it took him over 20 years to finish his first symphony, all because he was terrified it wouldn't measure up. So, after years and years of grinding and perfecting his craft, it was finally time. It was time to leave that starting zone behind and step onto the main stage. For music, that meant one place, Vienna, the championship league of the music world. So in 1862, he made the move. And back then, Vienna was the undisputed music capital of the world. Seriously. It was like a musician today moving to LA or New York. This move gave him the platform he needed to go from being the next big thing to being an absolute superstar. It was a total game changer. And once he was in Vienna, he just started dropping bangers. Look at this greatest hits collection. He wrote 4 massive, epic symphonies. He created this incredibly moving piece for choir and orchestra called A German Requiem. He composed these two super powerful piano concertos, some really personal chamber music, and then, almost like a side quest, he dropped his Hungarian dances, which became a total viral sensation. And what's cool is this chart shows you just how versatile he really was. You can see he put a ton of focus on these huge orchestral works, but he also poured his heart into powerful music for choirs and even these smaller, more intimate pieces. He could go big and epic, or he could go quiet and personal. The guy was a master of every style. So, after all that work, after leveling up to the main stage and releasing hit after hit, what did he leave behind? What is the Brahms legacy? Let's get into it. Well, for starters, his legacy is so huge that he's now part of this super elite club, the 3 Bs. That's Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms. Seriously, think of it as the ultimate music hall of fame. Just by being put in the same group as those two titans, his spot as one of the GOATs was pretty much cemented forever. But maybe his most important legacy, the biggest takeaway, is this idea right here. Brahms proved that you don't have to throw out the past to create something amazing for the future. He showed everyone that you can be totally modern and innovative while still respecting the classics that came before you.
When you really look back at it, his entire life was the ultimate level-up story. He went from a kid grinding it out in the clubs of Hamburg to a celebrated master in Vienna. It's just an incredible story about what pure, focused dedication can actually achieve. So, in the end, Brahms built his legacy with a few key things: intense hard work, a deep respect for the past, and the courage to be innovative. Which kind of brings us to the final question. Whatever your thing is, music, sports, school, creating stuff online, what does it take for you to build a legacy that really lasts? Thanks for hanging out with me.